Welcome to this month's episode of Short Clip Case Studies, brought to you by Natera Performance Solutions.
Hi to all, Patrick Mills here from the Aspire Academy. Thank you for taking an interest in this case study, and thank you to Alex Natera for hosting. Today I'm going to take you through a case study looking at the return to performance of an elite junior discus thrower. And we'll have a look at some of the concomitant lean mass, strength and power changes that occurred to support this process. Just to note, I'm presenting this in my capacity as the strength and conditioning service provider to the throws events here at Aspire, where I also operate as the sports science support lead. So as a little background, the athlete in question was a world junior champion who had recovered from a major injury in the ensuing season to compete very well without actually returning to peak physical condition. If I use the analogy of climbing a mountain, we had successfully summited once before and were setting out on the new 17-18 season. This season already had lofty goals as we attempted our second summit, and these became more challenging after suffering an injury early during general preparation phase, which I'll explain further in a moment. So as we stood, the challenge was to return to competition within 3 months, return to the medals at some important competitions for the country after 5 months, return to peak physical performance somewhere between 4 and 6 months, and return to the World Junior Championships after 8 months. So where was base camp? Well, after a delayed season start due to a long summer of senior competition, the athlete suffered a hamstring injury after being a little overeager, shall we say, during some max speed work. So at the back end of October, time was running. The athlete in question was 18 at the time and also embarking on his final school year alongside his training, just for a little more context. One of the major goals set by the coach was to add body mass. This particular athlete had great speed in the circle, but he was not the largest of throwers, who can really be at the big end of the spectrum, as you can imagine. And the added lean mass would help for stability in the throw and momentum behind the disc. The target set was 6 kilograms, with at least 4 kilograms of that being lean mass, which was informed by previous seasons. So how were we going to go about this? What was our plan of attack? Importantly, we decided not to try anything too novel or special. We knew we had a good athlete on our hands who responded well to stimuli. We had a blueprint for what had worked for us previously, as he had been successful in 2016. Therefore, goal number 1 was to rehabilitate the injury to return to technical training, whilst also taking the opportunity to target upper body gains while throwing volume was reduced. And we wanted to be aggressive in the return to lower body loading. Obviously, as a thrower, the hamstring is not under such large mechanical load as in some of the other events, and so we could be confident in doing this. We targeted max strength progression as a foundation for developing our explosive power, and hypertrophy would be achieved through a higher volume of strength work around competitive windows. Thirdly, we wanted to exceed all previous explosive power bests at the new weight of 110 kilos. As explosive power qualities could not be sacrificed as a result of the additional mass gained. And we wanted to ensure the athlete's weight was relatively stable ahead of key competition windows, so as not to disrupt the feel or the technique and rhythm of the throw. Finally, we needed to transfer these physical qualities to the event throughout using special preparatory and developmental exercises, such as jumps, heaves, and weighted throws. And the table there shows you some of the goals we set for the season. So what did the journey look like? Well, we were able to return to full throws after 17 days, thanks to great collaboration with our physio. We took the opportunity to focus gym sessions around the upper body for an initial period of 2 weeks, and we pursued an aggressive return to lower body loading, doing as much as we could of normal program with low discomfort allowed. Finally, but importantly, we reviewed the nutritional program to support the athlete with his lean mass gains in conjunction with the in-house nutritionist. Max strength and lean mass goals were adjusted by a program of 3 gym sessions that fit into the microcycle, as you can see during the academy week. Hypertrophy was achieved through a moderate to large volume of strength work in two-month windows around competition, mainly using critical compound lifts, as we wanted to add athletic mass rather than just bolting on weight wherever we could, bodybuilding style. You can see in this table that November, December and February, March were our 2 windows for a higher volume of work. In order to realise full athletic potential at his new fighting weight, we used a concurrent or vertically integrated style throughout, blending our strength and power work with differing emphases. This is quite common in practice, and as a thrower, we never wanted to put him into too much of a hole, always allowing him to throw within 5% of his best on any given day, which is quite common in the throws world. To assist transfer of physical qualities to the event throughout, we used jumps and throws that had previously been a good indicator for the technical coach of the type of form the athlete was in. And this piece of the program mainly was delivered by the head coach, the technical coach. So that was how we went about things, but how did the summit look? Well, you can take a look there at the table that shows some of the outcomes. But like most journeys, it had some twists, turns and setbacks. And we spent some time navigating minor issues, such as soft tissue injuries from throwing sessions. And we have some ideas as to why these may have been happening. But generally, all our objectives were achieved, albeit at different times throughout the year. The athlete increased lean body mass 3 kilograms, with some additional fat added, but remained very lean for a thrower at around 12.5%. Most of this mass went on in the 2 months to January, about 3 kilos, with a gradual rise thereafter. And while DEXA in May put us just short of the objective, he did weigh in at 110 kilos in June. The athlete was able to exceed all previous strength and power markers. Strength marks were achieved at differing times, as these were just training marks rather than any one specific testing session. The counter movement jump test was also an all-time best. And although we weren't able to get a test done later in the season, which would have been ideal, we did have some low profiles that confirmed that this athlete's explosive power was higher than it had ever been before. On the left here, we have the Smith machine squat jump at fixed loads from the end of March with the athlete at 108 kilos versus a similar time point in 2016 at 102 kilos. Whilst we didn't go to the heavier end of the spectrum, you can see a clear shift in the trend line. And on the right, the Smith machine bench throw. This time, October versus May. So the entirety of this journey. And you can see again the shift upwards and to the right. What about our transfer exercises? Well, away from the academy on camps in June, the athlete was also hitting personal bests in these, with a huge 24 meters 66 overhead 6 kilo shot heave. All of which indicated we were in a really good place. So to take a look back at the objectives we set, we wanted to return to competition in 3 months, which was successful, including the 2018 World Lead Throw early in that January competition window in good conditions. We wanted to return to the medals in 5 months. And the athlete was able to do this, securing gold at the GCC and Arab Championships. We wanted to return to peak physical performance somewhere between 4 to 6 months. And as I've just shown you, all physical performance bests were achieved in the 2018 season. And finally, we wanted to return to World Junior Championships after 8 months. The athlete did this, securing a silver medal in the Asian Championships on the way, and was ultimately 5th in the world final. So what are some of the key points or learnings? Take the opportunity in phases of rehabilitation. Don't rest and wait, really get after it. This athlete recovered very fast from hamstring injury. The upper body work we did was able to kickstart the lean mass gain that we had in that first 2 month windows. Responders are relatively simple to program for. If they haven't plateaued, don't use too many tools. Many things could have been done in this process, but they weren't necessary, so keep the program as simple as you can. Only adding things in when you need. Be consistent with training, rest, and recovery. These are always the non-negotiables. Do the simple things well. Finally, athletics in the Middle East is very fluid and not always dependable, which is reflected in testing opportunities. So be prepared to use several different metrics and don't negate those which occur already within the training program. And I just want to finish by saying a thank you to the athlete, coach, and entire support team involved throughout this process. If you want to find out more or share any thoughts, please don't hesitate to get in contact. And I'm best contacted on LinkedIn or via email. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.